Hello, and welcome to the Journey with Janie podcast. I'm your host, Jane Anderson, and I am here to welcome you back to the podcast to talk all things grief and dying and how to rediscover yourself and get back on track, taking those simple small steps to finding the true, authentic you. So today I want to talk about childhood. Now, I'm well aware that not everybody has had a loving, caring childhood like myself growing up. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, I was brought up on a farm with my mum and dad and my younger brother, and it is the most amazing time. And it wasn't until I lost my mum to liver failure in January of 2022 that I realised how much my childhood had influenced my life. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. So it's a bit of reflection on my part, and where my first book that is called Journey You Never Realise, where the thoughts and feelings came from that have gone into that book. And towards the end of the podcast today, I'm just going to open the book and I'm going to read a little bit to you guys. Open and honest, I've never reread the book, so I've no idea what's going to come through when I open the pages, so it'll be what it is. And yeah, so the whole thing of I don't think we ever totally understand death and dying of a loved one until it actually happens to us, till we've actually experienced it. Obviously, as a child growing up, I lost grandparents, and it was tough. But you kind of, you don't forget, because you still love them. You still have memories of spending time with grandparents, but it isn't until something, till you actually lose somebody close to you, till you have to have an understanding of how it impacts both yourself, the people around you, your family, friends, and also the expectations of like society around us as to how we should be coping, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of babble as I do. And so I nursed my mum in COVID. She was given a diagnosis of liver failure, and both my brother, my dad and myself nursed her through. She wanted to stay at home, so we did. And I think for me it was the realisation that I was actually going to be grieving twice. So it was almost like I think we in the grief world, it's called anticipatory grief. So I was anticipating the loss of my mum at some point, and open and honest, I was extremely angry because we didn't know when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen, what we were going to go through. It was basically we went through the day-to-day process of caring for her, feeding her, making those happy memories towards the end of her life as to how she wanted to be, and staying at home was one of her most important wishes. So we carried that out, and it's not until well, actually, I'll be honest, till now, today, when I'm sat here thinking about it, that I can actually pinpoint it is anticipating, because that person that you've loved for all your life, you're suddenly the person caring for them instead of the other way around. Especially in my situation, as it was my mum that I was nursing, and spending time talking about those happy memories and sharing the love of, you know, she always wanted to know about what the children were doing, what they were planning, also about me and where I was going. And yeah, it is not easy, because it is a grief twice, because that person is no longer the person you remember them to be, and then all of a sudden they are no longer there as well. So then you have to go through the whole grief of the eventuality of the loss of that person. Now, I am going to have to think of a different name for loss, because it's not a loss, because they are still there, in our thoughts, our minds, and in spirit. They are around us all the time. And yeah, so that's coming through for me today, the fact that we don't lose people. We actually, they go on to wherever it is. And I'm not here to preach. I've no idea. Everybody has their own thoughts on what actually happens. And that's unique to everybody, the same as grief is unique to everybody. Everybody has their own understanding, their own beliefs, and grief is unique. Each person is different. And for me, it's actually listening to people and understanding the journey that they're on, and where I can help to give them those little tools that might help on a daily basis to get them back on their feet, and start a new chapter in life. We don't have to actually stop our life because somebody has passed on or is no longer with us in the physical. We get to choose what we want to do, and ultimately it is our choice. So I totally get it. If you feel you want to be that person that is just wants to sit and grieve the loss of the person, and that's fine. Like I said, grief is unique. We do what we want to do. And this is the whole thing with the blocking out what is expected, what people think we should be doing. I think I mentioned it the other day. What people think about what we do is entirely up to them. We are in control of us, so we get to choose what we want to do. So I think for me, and this is just a personal, my personal opinion, is grief is difficult, and understanding how you are is an inside job, and it's understanding you as a person. So the whole journey with Janie, for me, has been finding my inner being, my inner self, and believing in me. So yeah, it isn't easy. Life isn't easy, and I'm sure many people will say that. So yes, like I say, grief is unique, and we all have good days, we all have bad days, but it's trying to make those bad days less. Like I said, it could be minute by minute that we're working, or hour by hour, or day by day. But we need to take those small steps to make those hours into those minutes into hours, those hours into days, so that the better days become more. So yeah, that's, I hope that's been helpful today. And I did promise you I'd read out of the book, so I'm going to turn it to the page, and the book is opening at page 25. So I'm just going to read from the top of the page. Jane supposed this was a huge learning curve and helped her to understand the process of planning and organising a team, which stood her in good stead in later life. As a child, you really don't see the life lessons that you are learning at the time and the benefits of what the older generation passed down to you. This is where Jane started to think about what she is actually teaching her kids and how she can make their life an easier ride. Life is short and we need to make each day count. The run up to the Gymkhana Day was always hectic, as this usually coincided with jobs on the farm. Farmers are great multitaskers, and invariably there were last-minute catastrophes that needed to be sorted. But the day was always a success. Just like farming, though, it was weather dependent on the day, as no one likes to wander around stalls in the pouring rain. Grandma and Mum were always busy baking in the run-up, and anything that wasn't good enough for the industrial attempt would go to the ladies to serve with a cup of tea. Jane loved baking with with Grandma, especially as she used to get to lick out the mixing bowl, and always useful for climbing up the shelves in the pantry to reach some of the special ingredients required. So that is just a little snapshot of Janie You Never Realise, and yeah, that's made me smile today. So think of one thing today that can put a smile on your face. Doesn't matter how big or how small. And yeah, always remember there's something inside you that knows no limits. So it's time to believe in you. Thank you all for joining me on the Journey with Janie podcast. Always remember there is something within you that knows no limits. It's time to believe in you. Click the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I love reading your reviews and comments, so right away. So if you're ready to take those small steps to transform your true self, let's do life together.